all of that secondary utility is used, how the retakes are done, and really what are going to be the agent compositions here for our Prime Gaming agent select. Jammy's on the Viper, and we have noticed NUTURN do not play the Viper. It's one of the things that really has seemed to separate a few teams here and being able to stall out, create their own situation, their own environment with the toxic screen as they go in. So we'll see if that affects them at all. Seeing the Sova on both sides is great, because when we have not seen teams with a Sova recently in this tournament, their retakes just seem so chaotic. You can't ping past walls. You can't dart past smokes. And it seems like there's really a lack of control on getting back in, or I should say initiation as an initiator.
No, I agree. I think you certainly feel lackluster, so it's good to see those two. I think across the board, this also bodes well. And again, I'm keeping a close eye on NUTURN because of how Haven went the last time we saw this on this map. They have not made any adjustments as far as composition goes. Now the play style might be a bit different, but so far they're sticking to their guns. They're starting off on the attack, and it looks like early on this is going to be a bit of like a feel things out default. You've got the Astra Stars already holding down a long to deny any information potentially gathered by FEs on the peak. This is a good setup early on.
And we have to make sure to mention, now they're on their agents, you can kind of get a track of them. Penny on Jet, watch out for it. Allow on the Jet on the other side. That's for Version1 and NUTURN respectively as we start off. So the wall here coming in from Version1 basically denies a fast A, or at least an A that NUTURN has to think about as they would run through the toxic screen. And no real aggression here to start coming in from V1. They're happy to stay. Set down some stars, and we do see the Astra on both sides as Perry starts laying some out towards Garage.
I do think it's good to see Penny take some of this space away on a short and get a bit more of aggressive positioning, right? Like, this area of the map is so heavily contested, and it's because of that, right? Like, you get so much control if you can exploit that area. Penny already swings out, deals the first blood of the series. Oh, and Vanity's on the flank as well. They've taken the middle of the space. NUTURN, they're trapped right now. They're going to have to fight their way through the defenses of V1.
Beautiful job by Vanity. They've been able to separate the map a little bit with the way they played the Killjoy turret, which allowed them to play back, allowed them to play these hard corners. Zelsis now picks one up, and they're just picking apart NUTURN ever so slowly.
30 seconds left.
So the spike is down in A short. They have to slowly, you see it, you see Allow like slowly working his way around because they don't know how far up Vanity's gone. As we can see, Vanity has retreated back. But again, like, because of the way the early round played out, they really have nowhere else to go. They have to commit today. And V1's not giving them an inch. Perry looking to take some of it. However, he's going to get dropped at the hands of Celsius. V1 win the pistol.
Opening shots of confidence coming in from Version1 as NUTURN was looking to read the map, feel it out, see a few pitches coming in from Version1, and the first one was a laser shot from Penny. He picks up 2 on the round, an extra 400 in the pocket for him and Zelsis, as now we head into round 2. We will see Spectres now coming out of NUTURN. The wall is switched up, so they basically cut off A this time. This may give Penny a little bit more of a push. You see the turret being placed on the left side of B here. This allows Zelsis to actually play between 2 sites. Awesome distance and use of the utility there.
So that's such a good counter to that Viper's wall. When that wall goes up, there's no information of what's happening in a short. You have to respect the possibility that somebody on the side of V1 has already pushed their way aggressively through that, right? But right off the bat, Lakia drops the recon dart right past that to expose where Penny might have been going. He had to wait it out before working his way forward, but it seems like NUTURN feels comfortable working their way in anyway.
Lakia towards the back. He is watching on their flank right now, possibly waiting for that sonar bolt to come up to fire it over. You can see him setting up. Spike's got dropped, but Jammy's already pushing before they can get the strategy into position. Lakia with 2 beautiful shots.
You can see V1 went hunting, trying to look for the remaining members of NUTURN, and they may have bit off a bit more than they could chew as things drop down to a 3v2 in favor of NUTURN. Now the spike is not on the site. They do have some time to flip it if they want to. Zelsis equalizing things at 2 apiece. But yeah, Riv, look at it. NUTURN hightailing it out of there. They're going elsewhere.
That was actually a smart by Version1. If you look at it, and they played the time based on when they may have seen the first sonar bolt coming out. You say a setup would be happening now. It's been about 30 seconds. Peek out, and you catch them waiting to shoot one over A. Now over towards C. That's just going to be Solo doing what he can. $300 is what they want to get as Zelsis finds Lakia, and he's going to go straight for that plant, drive it into the ground, and hope for the best.
Well, You can hope. But there wasn't a whole lot of best there. I think in that 1v2 situation, the nice thing for V1 there is even though they were heavily invested from a personnel perspective on the A side of the map, they had a ton of utility, right? All of Zels's utility was on C, and you saw that as soon as Solo came out. Both Nano Swarms were activated to delay that plan, and then Vanity showed up with a bit of CC of his own. So I gotta say, like, that right there is why you can't sleep on NUTURN. It's because of plays like that don't go their way. And even this play, right? If not by timing, Lakia has a chance at Zelsis, and the round easily goes the other way. So you're feeling that this map already is just like being decided by split-second moments that can change the outcome of what's going on.
Absolutely. And we see Version1 being able to pull that out and do damage. I'm sorry, NUTURN do damage to Version1, so the buys may become a bit more tough. Suggest able to do it again. The Ion Sheriff headshots, they're almost free, I tell you. And they're gonna back out. A nice grab. They have a Phantom. They can now start to move around. That was dropped to Lakia, so the priority on how they need to move this now starts to come in Division, and they're still waiting. The same wall we saw on round 1 from the toxic screen, placed up around B towards A, slowing things down if they need to on an initial rush. Version1 still looking to creep up. I think Suggest has then seen that there was he would have heard that alarm bot placed in, so they know a bit of Killjoy positioning. They haven't identified B, so I wonder if the turret is known to be there, stopping them a little bit. And it's going to be the A strat once again. They creep up as close as they can get. They feel like not having too many weapons dug. They got to get as close as possible and close the gap to get these frags. Effie is close, and so is Penny. We'll see if they can make it out of this one as the chaos ensues.
30 seconds left.
Oh, this will be noise. They decide not to drop it.
The dart, the flash, the cloud burst, the dash as they work their way onto the side, and so far Allow has gotten through entirely unscathed, but unfortunately for NUTURN, Suggest and Perry are not nearly as fortunate as the wall comes down. Effie's is greeted with a handful of folks on the side of NUTURN. Hello! He's able to get a couple, but Allow looking to trade things back. He's gotten two. Zelsis getting that back himself as he gets onto it solo with the flash, not able to make anything happen out of that. This is big from a financial perspective. Riv, they win the pistol, they win the following round, and then, even with the damage that NUTURN did to their bonus, for V1 to win this is big.
Absolutely. Playing the bits of time there. Spikes being planted. You know there's going to be one less person shooting, most likely with how much time they had to put the spike down. So Version1 working it methodical, even though they seem to be running around the map here. And NUTURN's doing a great job about that. They are finding that they're having a priority in numbers once they get to a site. So NUTURN is learning what the movement, what the pressure of Version1 is. Ever so slightly, you want to find the precedent that your opponent is setting. And Version1 should be able to have found a few of those movements, where they'll be, how many are at a site. But now in our first gun round, we'll see if all that homework pays off that they've done for these first three.
Different look from V1 already. Look at the aggression down C long, right? It wasn't a flash, it wasn't dash, it wasn't noisy, but it wasn't expected, at least you would think, because they hadn't done it. But Allow holds fast, is able to stop the aggression. Penny with the op. We saw how devastating he can be with this weapon. Not able to land anything yet. You see him reposition. He's gonna get a chance, and yeah, baby, he delivers. Bladestorm out as Penny tries to stay alive, using the counter from the Cloudburst to keep him alive. That's insane.
And again, NUTURN, overwhelm. It's how they're able to get in. The first one, obviously Allow. He's just saying you're not allowed to do that. You can't push. And it was a great read. If we remember what really came to fruition on NUTURN was that at the beginning of the game, a lot of pushing happened towards them. They were pushed back by Sharks, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to look for this next time. We're going to make sure nobody can get on our flank, because they aren't looking to work with that Cypher on the side. They're keeping everything that they have with them for these attacks, so they got to be their own sentry, and Allow had that time perfectly, reading a bit of Version1's push on the first gun round.
Just to have the wherewithal to even expect that, knowing we hadn't seen that look from V1 at all, was very impressive. Mixed by for the boys on the defending side here as we enter round 5. No presence towards A this time on the side of NUTURN, as they're actually looking to exploit the middle of the map. Let's see what they can find.
Some deep stars here to kind of play with the minds of Version1. Oh, that's a showstopper coming straight in. Actually, just shot to the left, a blind fire. on the showstopper here, and that's going to be great for Version1 on the Frenzy round with 2 Vandals.
Yeah, getting that ultimate offline with really no value. I mean, yeah, I guess the one thing you know is that there's nobody playing that tight 50, but certainly not what you're looking for when you invest in an ultimate like that. So they cut noise. They look to reset things a little bit and see what they can find towards C. They're still postured heavy that way. You still see a couple of pings on the mini-map. The nice thing for V1 is that if they do push into that, they do have Zelsys' lockdown, and that's a big pick, with the Frenzy no less on the suggested.
Wow, traded back quickly by Perry. Nice little retribution kill there as they head in. And they don't even know he's there. Allow just can't find the targets. And V1 attacks back with 3 fast. Perry looking to do what he can.
1v3. They did draw out the Hunter Fury, and he managed to get away from that unscathed. He's got to get a shot onto Penny, but no. Penny continues to impress. The young cracked out star on the side of V1 secures the round for the boys on defense.
It's just Version1, if they do go down, we see the next round they just info deny until they say, all right, peek now. There's been enough time. You know, you're kind of predicting a lull in your opponent's senses where they would be rotating. You catch them in that rotation. Just to dodge the showstopper, come up with the frenzy, especially on the rounds where you're going up against full guns. Version1's got to be feeling great right now.
Got to be feeling very good. We're going to see a very similar look that we saw a couple of rounds ago. The Viper's wall cutting off information around A short. You see it go up, and this time you see Jammies and Penny have taken the space aggressively, and they double down on that by dropping the Viper's pit. This is a this is a tough situation for NUTURN because they have to decide, are we going to fight into it or not? Jammies off the board already. That's big.
What a read on the triple ult here coming from NUTURN. They wanted to get in. That's going to be Bladestorm. That's going to be Rolling Thunder as they get into A, but it's all slowed down, and they lose Jammies. So a ruffle of the feathers to start. NUTURN handles it perfectly, and they still have those ultimates to use as they come in. We did see Hunter's Fury come out there, and now it's going to be another trade. They still set up. They still want to go through with it. They feel good, Doug. Here it goes.
Rolling Thunder leading the way as Lakia follows shortly thereafter, and Effie's drops. Penny looking to trade things out. There's the lockdown that we were expecting out of Zelsys to try to equalize things. They respect it, but Penny's on the read! Penny's on the read! He's cut him off! They're stuck, Riv! There's no way for them to work their way out. Penny good for 1, Penny good for 2. Make that 3 on the round. Full control for V1.
Just when you think you're getting out, a Penny for your thoughts on the flank. And it is a rough one. Looking at how the Hunter's Furies were used there, with the ultimate there being down for the lockdown, I should say, I was just super impressed with how they got them out early, but it still comes down to the fact that Perry has to make it work again. Always on the flank. We saw this last round. He's trying to make things work from across the map with the smokes, but still be present for the late game situation here in each round. I should say late round situation. And it's just going to time out on this one. Perry keeps himself alive, keeps the Phantom in his hands. That might go to suggest or Lakia here as we get into our next round. But Version1 feeling good, reacting well to these as NUTURN continues to put up strats.
Dude, I have been floored, to be honest with you, by how well Version1 have read this map, right? Like, there have been a couple of times now where we've seen them position themselves in such a way that they're just a step ahead of NUTURN from a macro perspective. Even like having him trap them in to the lockdown, not giving them an easy escape is huge. Slight adjustment that we see here out of the Viper's wall from Jammies. You hear the gravity well has been used early on. Short control has been taken away, and that's the narrative that we're going to continue to see throughout really the entire map.
We'll have to keep an eye on if NUTURN continue to watch that flank past the early game. Allow picked up 2 big frags at long C just a few ago for NUTURN, watching Version1 push, reading Version1 a bit. Version1 then sets back to a different default strategy on their defensive side, and it's like an info denial. NUTURN can't figure out what kind of util they can get out or not. Here on another save round, they're going to throw their numbers towards A, but the spike is towards B. They're looking for that $300 if they can get it. I should say credits, 300 credits.
Yeah, this may be a bit of a, you know, make some noise, see what kills you can get, which so far have been none. Harry did have the only rifle on the side of NUTURN, but the nice thing is that is going to draw some attention away from C, which is where Solo is just very quietly going to waltz his way up. But you've got to remember here, they don't really have weaponry, and Solo's alone. Zelsys once again is on the read with Jammies. I'm telling you, Riv, they're a step ahead every time.
I was going to say V1 does not usually rotate out of their sight until the spike is being planted. So big credit to NUTURN there for making them bite, because NUTURN has been going to every site. They say, let's switch it up this time. We're on the eco. We kind of need to even stretch ourselves thin to make that work. Version 1 in the middle of the round say, wait a minute. This is different. They come right back. Then Solo can't even plant there. And they were a moment from having it, right? But V1 flipped the switch, and they were like, no, 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 no. Here we go. So round 8, 6-1. Version 1 here on defense shutting down NUTURN's attack.
In flawless fashion as well. It seems like they've picked up right where they left off, but this time it's unfortunately against them. I think they set the record the last time we saw them on the big stage for most flawless rounds probably ever in the history of everything. But again, this time receiving it from V1. So now they're going to have better weapons. Now they're going to have rifles. Similar Viper wall that we saw from Jamie's, controlling that A short area, and a ton of utility across B here, Riff.
Doug, look at this wall as well from Jammies. They're giving them less and less as the map goes on. The next time NUTURN gets guns, well, you're going to have to really work for the right side of the map. They say, well, we're going left. Zelsis eats a bit of a nade there, and we'll see how they can control C. Full retake in position right now if it is a C play here. NUTURN's going to have it to themselves. How can they post-plant this?
Oh, and Zelsis already dropping early on certainly doesn't help. They've gotten onto the site. Solo's going to get the spike down. And he has the Blade Storm in tow and is working around, but you see the slow burn from Vanity and the slow burn from Jamie. He's still working his way out of the eastern side of the map. The good thing for Version 1 here is that they're going to be approaching the retake from multiple fronts, but NUTURN are so well positioned right now, right? They also still have the Cosmic Divide out of parry that they can invest should they choose to do so.
Here we go. You got Jammies coming down on the bottom. Sonar Bolt going through now that he's there, and they're working as a team with 3 to come up, but allow.
Last player standing.
Effie's on the tap. The snake bite to buy some space. Solo good for one anyway, but he didn't have enough health. He had to take it. Is he going to get the defuse, Riv? Oh,
Found it.
full clench. Full clench.
And honestly, that Viper bite from Jammies on the stage is the sub. Very, very quick thinking to understand what happened within the site take, where the last person could have escaped to. And that absolutely helped clutch that round. Been very impressed with Jammies here on Version 1. And that is going to be a quick pickup. Ladies and gentlemen, the Effie's mating call.
That was excellent display of one power. You got to give it to him.
That was some diaphragm usage.
It was a little dash early on. Jammies once again reads it like a book, as we see that even if NUTURN try to push in towards A, like V1 had, they have it locked down. They haven't found very much success on that side of the map at all. And much like we've seen previous times, whenever they show that way, Vanity takes the middle of the map. Look at where he is on your mini-map right now. He's about to walk into the defender's spawn. He's got the Viper's wall to conceal his advancements, and he's got the chance to catch parry. Yep, and that's just too easy, Riv. It's too easy. He was in astral form. He had the spike. He dropped. Suggest is left alone in a 1v4. Things continue to go sideways for NUTURN.
Oh, Vanity tries to get the movement shot there. Suggest quickly tucks and fires. He's going to be good for that. And this is going to be a tough one. Suggest definitely has some of the best aim on the team. It's quiet, but when he pops off, it is a loud statement. Firing forward, trying to catch that drone off guard, but they're still too distance from the play.
Now okay. I was going to say, he's got the showstopper. If things get real close, he might whip something up. But no, an excellent stop from Effie's there, as you said, with the shock dart to win the round. Again, secure it for V1, and I think Haven, while there were questions, right? Like, I was the first to say it, right? Like, NUTURN were calling a good map against Sharks on Haven, and things just kind of didn't go their way. I think now we're seeing them really get exposed on both sides of the proverbial ball. Defensively, they didn't look good against Sharks. On attack, they certainly don't look good against V1, and NUTURN just seem at a loss on this map.
We'll see. It is going to be a tactical timeout coming in from NUTURN. Nothing they're doing seems to work. And one of the amazing things is it seems like there are rounds when V1 knows to info deny and rounds when Vanity knows that he freely has window. Just based off a few things that are going down. The shot calling we're seeing from Vanity here is absolutely amazing throughout the tournament so far, and it's no wonder that the Cinderella story here, from challengers to team roster switches to subs, albeit one at a time, that Version1 is definitely a team meant to be here on the world stage, and wowing people or not, they have worked for this and they're showing.
Now, Riv, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna put you on the spot. At what point do Version1 go from Cinderella that kind of goes back to Pumpkin and drags at the end of the night? When do they go from that to full-on belle of the ball at every single time, right? Like, what more is left for them to do to shift the narrative in people's minds that they're not just underdogs and that they maybe don't deserve to be here and that they're legit?
Honestly, I think they've done it, but it's carrying that current story in we're following their choose your own adventure to see how they end it. Because honestly, it could be written here and you'd be like, holy damn, that was a really good book. Version1 was a great book, and I can't wait to read the next one. But that's not what they have in mind, right? It's not Season 8 yet. So we'll see what they got here. Round 10, they're going in, and we'll see what they have towards A. Allow goes down almost immediately on the round. That's going to be an operator in Penny's hand for this round.
Dude, Penny hit that after the Viper's Pit was going up. Down C long with no information. There was no dart. There was no nothing to reveal the position. That must have been like a... give the dude a haircut, just saw like a pixel onto that shot. I hate that we missed that. Hopefully we'll be able to get that on the replay to see if that was as gross as it seemed in my mind, because that was just filthy. So to recap, V1 have taken complete control of C. They've got the Viper's Pit. There's no easy entrance there. What I do like about NUTURN here is that they're feeling things out in the middle of the map. They're about to find out that it should be pretty safe, but Vanity... Vanity! Lakia gives him the business left, right, good night. He drops, and that should give him entry onto A, except for Penny is on the flank. The flash is not going to land. The patience, the Blade Storm's not going to land. He's going to have to go in aggressive. Push things back. The spike has not moved, Riv.
4v3, Effie's looks like he's hanging out in sight, but they do have the Hunter's Fury if they want to get it. That Viper's Pit has been dropped as Jammy starts to twirl around. I was going to say Perry is making some good moves, but they are privy to what's going down. Solo now being seen. 25 HP with the overkill from the operator's shot to the chest. And now it's just going to be up to Suggest. And a beautiful shot on that. Another 3v1. And another V1 victory.
Dude, I'm getting like Monty Python and the Holy Grail type, like none shall pass vibes, because for NUTURN, they're feeling things out, right? It's not like, oh my, Penny, you're so bad. Like, it's not like they're running their head into a wall on one specific site and they're just trying to brute force their way in and they're just getting stuffed. They're feeling out different areas of the map, right? Like they're calling fakes, they're calling rotations. They're doing all the right things. They just can't find a way in.
I guess this is really a time as well when we get to see, you know, what NUTURN is made of. And that's not to say 9-1. It's always strong mentality coming out of Korean teams. They weather the storm. They find a way back. They know it's never over. Is right now Version1 seems to have them in a bit of chaos mode where NUTURN can't do their own strats. They're kind of playing to Version1's game, and that means you're always a step behind what you as NUTURN want to be doing. So again, they wait. Zelsus pushes. They find a frag, and this is where NUTURN may start to grab a little bit of momentum. 2 down now on the side of Version1 is NUTURN. Adapt.
You really have to here. Oh gosh, and the spike's down too.
Playing the toxic spot now.
Hey, he doesn't have any backup. Yeah, so if he drops, they're going to be able to regain control. They're going to know that A's open. Nobody else was pushing up, but even with that in mind, they're going to pull back off. But Vanity again. Oh no, Vanity gets a couple shots right into the back of the head. Courtesy of Perry. Effie's on the cut. Effie's good for 2. The spike goes down again, and it's Effie's. In a 1v2, he's already taking care of 2 of them. Looking for the third, not able to land it. Perry gets the kill. NUTURN get another round.
Last round before the switch.
Slowly making their way with a few more points back in, giving themselves that cushion for the next half. Looking at what we have for NUTURN here, as we said, 59% attack win rate, 50% defensive win rate. So getting the rounds on attack were almost necessary here, as Version1 gonna have momentum. They're gonna feel good. And NUTURN maybe back to that position where Solo in his interview said, we felt nervous, you know? Haven's one of our favorite maps. So it seems like they're just kind of being locked into this position. Here, they have 5 ultimates up. They're dealing with that same wall that Version 1 has been putting up. And let's see how they use their util on the side of NUTURN here.
Showstopper online. Suggests playing it a bit more slowly. Now is going to dash his way forward. I mean, scene of the crime from last time.
No
and
guarantees.
The same output. No, it's a meat grinder of NUTURN. As NUTURN have already lost 2. Penny with the op holding down that tight angle. A garage sees the shoulder, not going to land, and Suggest punishes it. The Cosmic Divide's going to come out. Zelsis quietly playing in the back corner, has not been spotted. The alarm bot helps, but Zelsis lands a kill, looking for a second. Not able to do it, as Suggest seems to be on a one-man mission to get NUTURN back into this thing, and that was heck of a way forward.
And then they win that. Douglas, like hardly any information grabbed, and you use one of the most impactful ults, blind again, but then they outshoot the round. But at that moment, that almost feels like, all right, we're out of options. Do this. And that becomes a little scary there for NUTURN. But it made Suggest feel comfortable. You can't complain after a round like that. And there it is. NUTURN coming alive a little bit here, Doug. They have a lot of work to do. But that is good to see from the Korean squad.
Yeah, a little bit of fire lit under them as they get us to a 9-3 half. Version 1 now going to test their mettle on the attacking side of the map. The Viper's wall goes up to block off A, and they're actually going to full send B. There's nobody there, Riv.
Oh.
They don't even they have no utility there. They're going to get him for free.
Nade's a little too deep out. Fault line won't do too much. So it actually stops Penny down as he gets one, though, and the Frenzies are pushing forward, Doug.
Absolute
Zelsis.
chaos. You got to keep an eye. Yes, that was it, right? Like, that is vintage Version 1.
Oh,
look at the lineups. Jamies was playing back on the site from downtown, denying any sort of way in. And then Zelsis, the 1-2 combo right into the back of the head, drops Lakia, picks up another weapon, and then you see the shock dart, too. It's not just the snake bite. There's really no way in. Allows gonna have to get through all of the utility that exists, and then the remaining members of V1 just to get a chance at this thing. There's no need. Zelsis is good for 3. That right there is V1 just like putting on full display how good they are on the attacking half.
That is V1. Watch that round over and over again. Forward aggression, post plant, still have a flank, still have post plant, lineups from downtown, and more lineups that you cannot, especially on a pistol round, shoot Sova through that wall. You don't see him, you know, and if you do, you're only gonna tag him for a bit of damage. So there's so many things they easily capitalize there, and we saw a picture perfect round from them.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did indeed. What do NUTURN do in response? No force up. Suggest is the only one with a little extra, a little something packing. As it looks like they have a decent read on what's happening here towards C. They've stacked 3 this way. The Ultra going into the pockets of Penny, getting 1 step closer to the Blade Storm. And, I mean, like puppets. Riv, look at that. They just showed a little bit down C long. And mind you, NUTURN don't have much to fight with, so they're almost forced into this situation where they have to show off of the first thing they see, but they have fully stacked C here.
Look at the info Vanity's trying to get here. He runs up, activates his own smoke so he can instantly hide on it, trying to just get shots out. Now, nothing really came of it. NUTURN's playing this super smart by holding util, info denying themselves. I think we might have heard a shorty go off, and that's not going to give you too much. So we see in the eyes of Vanity what they're trying, and it looks like they're going to go for what is a B once again with all 3 util smokes placed around it.
Effie still has a shock dart as well. But how much of a lineup do you have when you're already dead, sitting on the site? Cold. Penny on the flank, good for 1. But if it's not Effie's, it's Jamie's again, man. The exact same setup. It was slightly delayed, but the outcome's the same. V1 get to 11 as they dominate on the defensive half, and now they show they can do it on attack as well.
You know what seems absurd right now, especially on those rounds? If you win first round, I feel like the way Version 1 plays it, or the way a team can play it, is you know you can spread a team slightly thin by waiting out the round. They're going to have to at least choose a site, and it's probably not going to be one at B. It's be more of a retake. So to be able to get in there, you will always have the 7 seconds to throw that down, right?
Yep.
And then be able to get out so your guys who are already on post-plant lineups can do it. They almost have guaranteed rounds there without having to use ultimates.
Oh man,
Just the
Celsius
timing.
gets his hand on the lockdown. Effie's gets the opener into the site. You see the nanoswarms already coming out. Now keep an eye on Jammies. He's playing back. You presume he's got a lineup here, but he might get called. Oh, Solo, no! Solo, the timing was bad. Jammies catches him sleeping. He gets around, they get the kill. They get the spike down on C as well, and now they have control. But they go right into the belly of the beast. Vanity not waiting for NUTURN to take the fight to them. He's going in.
This wall gives them so much pressure. The first gun round, they go ham towards C on this. Toxic screen still up. Penny takes a bit of damage, but the positioning they have is great. You can see Suggest. Where's the flank? Which one's going to flank me first? Because that is the second part. I'd say second or third or 2A or 2B of NUTURN's Version 1's post plant, rather. But yeah, they get out safely. This is good for NUTURN to hold some guns for themselves. Things are only getting harder and harder. And there's another one. That's 12 for Version 1 here in your first map of the best of 3 series.
Match point.
An early match point as V1 again seemed to be in full control. And it's just been so impressive from Version 1. Again, I mentioned at the beginning of the series that I think NUTURN have a much better map than we saw on Sharks, but man, I am entirely wrong. As we see NUTURN call on another tactical timeout, and Riv, I know we're only 3 rounds in, about to play round 4 the second half, but I mean, at this point, it almost seems like a foregone conclusion.
It does. The way that Version 1 has been reading, honestly, you got to give them credit for this. The way they're reading on NUTURN, playing around them, finding the... honestly, for the first few rounds, I think it was as well Version 1 out shooting those instances, right? All those sheriff shots in the beginning to start capitalizing on bankrolls. And now you can't even chip away at that bank account for 2 or 3 rounds, 4 rounds. So knowing they had that up gave them confidence. They pushed a little bit more. The walls they have been putting up on defense from Jammies were successfully encroaching more and more onto the attacking side, giving NUTURN less room to even start with. And that just, it feels weird. You feel suffocated if you're NUTURN when you're starting your strats, because you're saying, oh my God, they're just gonna push us. They're just gonna do this. Let's wait and turtle, which turtle, again, does not mean you're scared. You're reading the play and see what they're doing. And Version 1 continue to find the success out of those plays, even if NUTURN stays back in turtles, because they're holding. You know, NUTURN will always have to come to you. But now on the other side, we'll see what NUTURN can do on defenses. Version 1 has to come to them.
I will say the one like silver lining so far that we've seen from NUTURN is that Suggest is on one today. He's like big boy on one. He's had multiple multi-kills. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if we can pull up the stats, but I'm sure he's by and large bragging out for NUTURN. I think Suggest has played really well, but otherwise it's just been a bit the
guy has a
wanting.
33% headshot out of Korea. I know Scream is 36-ish at the highest, so like quiet. Like I said, you know, you think of Allow, you think of Lakia, but Suggest is quietly one of the best players on this team.
Oh, dude. So they showed this exact look against Sharks. It was the breach flash, it was the Allow dash down C-long, and it was met with, I mean, I think they got a little bit more out of it when they tried it against Sharks, but V1 wisely waiting it out. They don't push in aggressively. They don't get caught with the flash. They just wait it out, and then they respond in kind. Now they're pushing it a bit more aggressively. Vanity playing in his smoke just on the other side with the judge. Oh, no! Vanity swings, drops parry like a bag of rocks as V1 continue to creep their way onto C. Celsius leading the way. Oh, Solo! Solo's got a judge of his own. If it's not him, it's Lakia. As Solo with 2 shells left. No, he's going to get dropped. Lakia looking for a bit of action as well, as he and Suggest are the last ones that remain. Suggest has to wait out the lockdown. That's going to give Celsius a bit of breathing room. And now Suggest with the Vandal in a 1v2. As the spike continues to tick away, there was a bit of a snake bite there to delay his entry, but no, that should be enough info on where he's coming from. The alarm bot is going to come out as well. But even then, you see You see Jamie's has played off. He's playing
Line
off
up.
site because of all the utility that he has. Suggest is going to have to tank through this. There's the snake bite as well. I love the use of the
only
Roomba
one,
to try to flush Jamie's out. There he is. Suggest trying to land the shots, and no, Jamie's does it again. V1 13-3 from top to bottom. Even when things look good for NUTURN, they take care of business.
What a game for Version 1. Vibing throughout the entire thing from start to finish. The few rounds they lost, they were able to recuperate, and the bleeding was never that bad. NUTURN again, feeling a bit shaky on Haven. Honestly, yeah, you're one map down, but I don't think that affects them too much. They came in here knowing Haven might be one of those maps. We have Ascent next, one of the better maps for NUTURN as well. Haven is one of their favorites, but seems just, again, be shaky at this tournament for NUTURN. And their strats weren't coming to fruition, and mainly because Version 1 continue to shut it down one by one or not allow NUTURN into a site with their full squad.
Yeah, I think that last round, even this one that we're looking at right now, like, Suggest played that right? Like, understanding that he's going to have to play around that utility, the Vandal. I don't know that the Vandal gets that kill, by the way. But using that